Diana girl, what did Effie tell you about Tariq? Monet, Mecca is not playing with you, honey. And Drew and Lorenzo might as well be Mike and Marcus. Like, they giving very much so bad boys tease. What's good, y'all? It's your guest, Sis Erica Vane, coming to you with a Power Book 2 Ghosts Season 2 breakdown from episode 7 of Forced Hand. Let's get into it. But before I do, I want to give a special happy belated birthday shout out to a subby, an amazing person, Jamarl Bryant. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm so glad that you enjoy the content, and I pray that you have the most amazing 21st birthday ever. You deserve. I hope you feel celebrated and loved. Everybody take a second and jump down in the comment section and wish Jamal a happy belated birthday. Okay, so let's get into this episode, y'all, because Power is not playing with us. Power Book 2 has their foot on our necks, and they are really not playing with us. The episode opens up with Lorenzo and Drew going ahead with the plan and taking care of Keno. And I thought that this was really, really dope to see, because it's very reminiscent to, or at least once they get to the part about leaving the witness behind. To me, it was very reminiscent to Power in season 1, episode 1, when they go ahead and kill the dude that hit their supply or hit their organization, but then they go ahead and send the girlfriend home and tell her to forget about it. And then she turns around, Maria Suarez turns around later on just to, seasons later, turns around just to identify James by his voice and then create additional problems later on. And I was just like, oh wow, they're going to leave this loose end. But nope, they're not, because Lorenzo don't play that. Drew is the one who actually took the kill shot for Keno, and in an effort to be able to cover that up and make sure that there's nothing that can back up on him, he goes ahead and lets Keno's number 2 kill the girl as well, because guess what? Rule number 1, no loose ends. And y'all, while I know that Drew doesn't actually want to be this kingpin and doesn't want to take over the organization, I'm like kind of excited and want to see it actually happen, because whether he wants to or not, he seems very good at what he does. And I think that while they're moving a little bit slow with Drew's character development and really dialing into the duality that we're seeing, can he balance his civilian and his criminal life? Can he handle love but also family duty and loyalty? I love how nuanced they are and how they presented it. Like, even in this episode where he gets into it with Kane, and we saw this in the preview clip that they actually posted before the episode, or we saw this in the trailer, so we knew he was going to get into it with Kane. And it was so interesting because everybody had assumptions about why he was getting into it with Kane, but I don't think that any of us, including me, thought that it was going to be after Kane said something about Everett. So that just really lets us know exactly where Drew is in reference to his relationship with Everett and how he basically is deeply in love. Now from there, Drew seems to like, okay, he knows what he has to do. He doesn't want Kane to be the one to kill him. He doesn't want Lorenzo to be the one to kill him. So he actually takes actions to go towards taking care of Everett himself. And even that, I was like, okay, so Drew can just cut it on and cut it off. Drew can just navigate. He got ice in his veins this minute, and then he a bleeding heart the next minute. Okay, so he about to be a real killer out here, because what did Kanan say? Kanan said that you're not really a killer until you kill somebody that you love, right? Until Everett sends this dang on text message to let Drew know that he misses him, that he's wondering what he's doing, and it's like, okay, so maybe Everett is falling too. Now, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I'm on the fence. I have not been feeling Everett from the beginning. He ran his mouth too much. He was very much so too green, and it's very hard when they're trying to entertain these relationships with civilians because they just don't understand it. Like I talk about with Tariq and Lauren, they look good together. They could be happy together for sure, but Lauren is way too clean cut. Lauren is not about this life. Lauren is a liability, and Everett is really kind of like the same. However, something in me tells me that Everett is getting to the point where he will do anything for Drew, including lie, including cross over to the dark side. He's also coming along and being a lot more understanding than I'm seeing Lauren actually be. So I'm like, maybe we don't actually have to take care of Everett. Maybe he don't have to go nowhere. Maybe it's just gonna be, he gotta take Criminal University 101, learn how to shoot a little bit, keep his head on the swivel, and we can go ahead and make this happen. Because at the end of the day, what I would love to see, I would love to see Drew be able to balance his role within his family and their organization, but also be truly happy and truly in love. Like, even if we just get that for like a season, y'all, I think that would be dope to see, because we really don't get to see that often. And it's probably because it's not necessarily realistic, but listen, the Power Universe is theirs. They can make whatever they want to have happen. Now, also, I think one thing I want to note about the Drew and Kane altercation that happened within this episode, I think that this is something that has been coming ahead. Drew has been starting to put two and two together behind, you know, some of the things that Kane has been doing. So Drew's the last one to arrive at the fact that Kane is the one who planted Ramirez's badge on Tariq and how much of a problem that is. And now that Lorenzo is home, I think that Drew feels a lot more confident in stepping up and stepping out and checking Kane on some of the things that he's doing. Drew, while he presents himself as a passive character or passive person, I don't necessarily know if I believe that he's passive or if he's just very, very calculated and strategic in the moves that he does and decides not to make. And honestly, that has worked out for him. It positions him to be mysterious. We kind of know what he's capable of, but it also feels like he's way more dangerous than he even lets on. And while it can present like he has weaknesses and references love and his soft heart and, you know, wanting to do art and everything like that, I think it also adds a little bit of strength to him that we don't necessarily see in Kane, who is a complete wild cannon. And Kane, child, Kane continues to show exactly why he's not the chosen one. And in this episode, there's quite a few times where people point to the fact that he is actually not smart. And I think that that's something that he's actually holding. And we really get to understand what his true resentment of Tariq is when he actually meets up with Tariq to tell Tariq about, you know, the faucet being cut off, how, you know, they can't supply course correct anymore, that Mecca has shifted all of his product to be going to Lorenzo. But we also get in that moment, he's like, you the smart one, right? You can figure it out. And I'm like, yo, this is literally Kane regurgitating everything that everybody was saying to him. And it's true, like, you are the muscle, you are the killer. And I think it's going to take more than Kane just having an attitude about it and being resentful of how people see him. It's going to take him actually showing that he can be smart, him actually being strategic. Because at the end of the day, when we look at it, and Drew is the person who brought this up in this episode, him planting Ramirez's badge on Tariq was the stupidest thing that he could have done. Because while it makes them look at Tariq immediately, Tariq gets ruled out because he didn't actually do it. And then now that still points back to you. You're still tied to Tariq, whether you want to or not, or whether you understand it or not. And then they just go, like, he even rolled up on Davis McClain in this episode. He jumps in Davis McClain's car, holds him at gunpoint, and then he gets to talking. Mind you, he told Davis McClain when the first time he met him, are you the $1 million? Like, and it was very clear. Your voice was very distinct and he knew who you was then. And then you said something around the same lines in this, and it's like, you're literally out here playing yourself because they had no idea who you were. And you basically just told on yourself by holding Davis McClain at gunpoint and threatening to kill him behind you not going to jail behind this. So every step that Kane makes, he ultimately winds up making 4 steps backwards for himself or his family. And I'm waiting for the point that he actually realizes it and decides to stop doing what he's doing and pivot. If y'all hear any noise or anything in my background, I hope you excuse me and give me a little bit of grace. I'm actually at my grandmother's house right now recording. We're having breakfast. This weekend is the 10-year anniversary of one of my cousin's passings, and I am here with my family, just checking in and honoring Bryant and enjoying ourselves. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what it is. And I thank you so much for your grace, and I love y'all so much for watching. But let's continue with this breakdown. All right, so while we're talking about these damn Tejada kids, honey, can we talk about Diana? I don't know y'all, but my spirit is telling me that Diana's going to get herself dead. And no, I actually don't think that Monet's going to be the one to kill Diana. When Diana kisses Tariq, I feel like this is her setting herself up to walk into her death. Effie has already warned her about Tariq. Effie and Tariq are now sleeping with each other, and Effie is holding Tariq down. I think that Effie still has deep feelings for him. Clearly, Diana has deep feelings for him. Diana is not ready for Tariq. She thinks she's ready. She thinks she knows, but she has no idea. Diana has made a couple great moves in this season and helped her father get out of prison, has done certain things, now is at school, like, it's moving along, but I think that she's letting this get to her head, and she doesn't realize how naive she is. She doesn't realize how much she don't know, and she doesn't realize how much danger that she's in. And Monet is literally the least dangerous thing because that's her mother. She actually loves her. Monet is not going to kill. If she didn't kill Kane, she's definitely not going to kill Diana. But Diana's decisions could kill Diana. Diana putting herself out there can kill Diana. Diana aligning too closely with Tariq could kill Diana. And I don't know if y'all see it or not, but I do, and I would love if y'all let me know in the comment section down below what you think is going to result of Tariq in a secret Diana relationship. Now, pivoting back to Tariq real quick, I want it to be noted that he had every opportunity to be able to throw Kane's name name into the rink and to be able to turn on him and get himself out of this. And every single chance that he gets, he really turns it down. Towards the end of the episode, Tameika's pissed with him because she gets him a deal where he will only have to do 5 years of jail. Yaz will be guaranteed to come out of the system, go into the foster family that she likes, and then be given back to Big Mama in a few months after she got out of rehab, and everything will be solidified, so he will be straight. So he had every reason to turn on Kane, but he still chooses not to. And part of it is from what he said, oh, he can't be a snitch, his family wouldn't be safe. But I also do think that there's a certain level of loyalty that Tariq has, specifically to the game and kind of to the Tejada. Now, while it's up in the air of where his loyalty is going to fall within which member of the Tejada family, I could definitely see the tides turning when it comes to Kane and Tariq, and them becoming more than just random allies or necessary evil allies. Because now Kane has already been presented with the understanding that Tariq was never really the problem. Like, his issue was always with Monet, and Tariq really didn't have an issue with Kane. He wanted to be down with Kane from the beginning, but Kane was taking all this ridiculous energy towards him. And I definitely think that Kane could benefit from rolling with Tariq. So while I know we are leaning towards like Tariq ultimately crossing Kane and being the reason why Kane goes to jail or something happens to him, part of me is still holding out for like a complete ball out of left field coming up and an unlikely allyship to develop between them, just by what we saw in this episode and like some of the breadcrumbs they've been dropping throughout the season thus far. I absolutely love the scene between Tariq and Rashad Tate. Like shout out to Mark Dark, the YouTuber over on Mark Dark TV. He's killing it with all his power content as well as other content. Mark, you're amazing. I love you so very much. You're so dope. Keep creating what you're creating. But he always calls Rashad Tate old dog. And when I tell you, I was watching that scene and I was like, yo, he is switching in and out of his old dog so fast with this conversation with Tariq. He's getting real gully, real gutter, and then bringing it back to going real proper. And this is why we love Lorenz Tate. Like, Rashad Tate's character over the course of this season has really come alive, and they are literally laying the groundwork for his spinoff, and I cannot wait to see it. Before I jump right back into the heaviness of this episode and all of the major things that happened, shout out to Bruchandria. She literally had a moment in this episode and crushed it. She was giving body at this memorial. She was leading this clubhouse talk about Professor Miligram, because Professor Miligram is struggling with everybody reading her down for her hoish ways. Since you already earned a bullet, so the least that you need to be worried about is crying in this little office because everybody knows that you a hoe. You need to be worried about if you actually gonna be able to survive. Now, I do think that we got some foreshadowing by way of what Rashad Tate said to her, and that he feels like she's a lot like him and they always find a way to survive. So maybe that means that we're not going to see Professor Miligram die anytime soon. We're definitely going to see her continue to struggle, but she's probably not going to go nowhere, y'all. But like I said, she got a little bit more to worry about than everybody knowing that she's a hoe, because at the end of the day, she probably should be in the ground. It was so interesting to me to see how Lauren interacted with Tariq at the top of the episode or the middle of the episode and then towards the end. Tariq actually finds out that Lauren had her room raided and that she went down to the precinct by way of it coming out in class, and then he follows up with her after class. She admits some things to clarify, and then he's starting to put two and two together. Saxe makes the comment of he needs to stay away from her, and then by the end of the episode, she's coming back and she's trying to apologize, and Diana walks up and he's just like, yeah, I ain't supposed to be talking to you. Boom. And I don't feel no kind of sympathy. Like, I get that Lauren doesn't even understand the magnitude of everything that's happening around her, but she has just been moving so privileged and so naive and so ridiculous. And I keep calling her Lauren the liability, y'all, and that's because she is. She truly is a liability. And while she's a cute girl, while she's a smart girl, she is not the girl for Tariq. And the best thing that she could do if she wants to stay alive is to go ahead and take her heart and keep it moving. Another little random but definitely much needed moment within this episode was the scene between Paula and Davis, where Davis actually meets up with her to try to confirm Tariq's alibi. They can't wind up putting Paula on the stand because she was with him, showing him a video that Saxe had illegally recorded of him admitting to killing his father. So this is a little bit messy. However, he is able to corroborate that Tariq really didn't do it. He really was with Paula. Then also we get the confirmation that Paula ain't no dummy, and Davis really don't got game like that, because you a dog, she knows your dog, she knows her worth, and she ain't playing with you. And I was all here for Paula and Tameika popping up, saying their piece, being strong, being knowledgeable, wanting to help Tariq, but then also maintaining healthy boundaries. Shout out to them. I was not excited when I saw Tameika in the preview, but she gave everything that needed to be gave in this episode. I think the most surprising scene of the entire episode was Mecca confronting Zeke. Mecca said he not playing these games with you. He not playing these games with Monet. He don't give a damn about what anybody got going on. You my son. Look at this tattoo. You named after this. Now let's go ahead and move forward. Let's get to know each other. Go ahead and ask your mother about me. Y'all, my mouth was just sitting agape, wide open, with me in shock and awe, because I just could not believe he came so direct. All of the characters on Power move real shadily. They always have ulterior motives. There's always something going on. And Dante / Mecca coming with the directness is refreshing, but it's also very, very scary. I will continue to say this, y'all. He is literally the most powerful player on the board. They better stop playing with him. Period. All right, y'all, that is my full breakdown of Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 7 of Force Hand. You can sense Erica Vane coming to you every week with new Power Book videos. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss any of my breakdowns. I will be hitting y'all with a predictions video very, very soon, as well as a few follow-up videos for specific character stories, so you don't want to miss it. And if you haven't already, check out my preview for Episode 8. I'll see you in the next one.